Tom Arnold, I think he's the Louisiana. I forgot what office he held. I know it's can't really remember. I forgot what office he held.
James Singleton, city councilman.
You know him? How do you know him?
His son married my aunt not too long ago.
Sidney Bartholomew, the mayor, he came over and spoke to us a while ago.
Do you know him personally, apart from his visit?
I never met him personally, but I've met some members of his family.
Did any of y'all ever work in a political campaign, like handing out flyers or anything like that? Do you ever have any interest in doing that? I mean, if somebody said they needed help, passing out flyers for state representative office or something like that?
I get paid.
Yeah.
I did it last year.
What'd you do?
It was passing out leaflets last year. $20.
Who you passing out for?
It wasn't for a person, it was for a cause, it was trying to make you vote for Democrats or the Republic, particular.
And so where did you pass the leaflets out?
In the 7th Ward.
Okay. Anybody else do that sort of thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I passed out some leaflets for Governor Edwards when he was running for governor.
How did you happen to do that?
I knew a friend and his dad asked me to come do it.
Did you know much about Edwards at that time?
Yeah, I knew a little bit. I didn't know too much. That was a while ago. I was kind of young.
Mayor Bartholomew was in the flash just recently?
Yes.
And did he talk at all about the tradition of involvement of people that graduate from St. Aug?
Well,
Are you guys aware of it at all?
yes.
What do you know about it?
We know basically that some people that graduated, some of the alumni that graduated who get involved in politics, that most of them are successful most of the time, and that most of them come back and talk to the school and tell us what's going on in politics. And Mayor Bartholomew, I mean, he came back and told us what's going on in the city and everything, and what he was doing to try to change it, but he didn't say anything about what he. Like the question you asked, he didn't say anything about what he was doing as far as the school. He didn't say anything about the school.
For somebody that doesn't live in Louisiana, doesn't live in the city, and they came to you and they said, well, is this school special at all? Has anybody that graduated from here gone on to do anything else? What things have people that you know of who graduated from St. Aug gone on to do in the city politically?
Okay, we have, besides the mayor, we have other people who contributed to the good name of the school. We have Warren Bell, who's the newscast on Channel 8. We have another graduate who's president in the White House for President Bush. And we have a couple of actors. We have Carl Weathers, a couple of other people. There's probably a whole lot of names that I'm leaving out, but that's the people who we mostly think about when we talk about great contributions to the school.
Someone else who's involved in politics is somewhat Paul Valto. He's civil sheriff down here. So he's one who graduated from St. Augustine.
Anybody know anybody else?
Nope.
Anybody know who the city councilman is around here?
Jim said that.
I said, a lot of people in the city council graduated from St. Aug.
Do you have any idea why all these folks came from this one school? I mean, what happened?
They had determination and a drive to succeed. And that's what they did.
I think it's also tradition, at least when we set down a reputation, that we do have successful black people coming from, at least black males coming from St. Augustine. Well, people, open their eyes and, we get results.
Now that there's this big tradition of St. Augs, are there any traditions like that? What's that?
Nobody wants to be a
Nobody
politician?
want to be a politician?
Why not?
Planning on being a politician.
Politicians.
They're crooked? All politicians are crooked?
No, not all, but you know, it's not a good. I wouldn't like the job. I wouldn't like the spot, being in the spotlight, having to watch everything I do all the time.
Everybody, why do so many people want to be politicians in New Orleans if,
I guess they want the power, or maybe they want to see something change, so they get involved.
does everybody agree with him? Everybody thinks they're just crooked and they're not worth the trouble? What do you think?
I don't think all that. I feel that the reason why people get into politics is because they see something wrong, either in the community or in the government, and they want to change that. So, and they feel the only way to do that is to run for an office or something like that.
Okay, hold on a second.
Well, frankly, I wouldn't want to become involved in politics because, take for instance, the mayor or somebody. You make a bad decision, and what you might think is a good decision that might help some people in the city, but other people might think it's bad, and then you have fingers pointing back at you in the result.
So you can't win, huh? Politics, is that it?
Well, no, I'm not saying that. You could win, but I'm just saying that sometimes you might not make a good decision, and then that could affect people in the city. That's all.
Okay. Anybody else feel about politics? So that's it? That you don't know, none of your friends want to go into politics? Nobody sees like a state representative or mayor and says, boy, I'd like to be like that?
Nah.
You don't know anybody like that?
No.
What do y'all want to be if you don't want to be politicians?
Business.
Business?
doctors, and lawyers.
Do you have any kind of an idea about what you think Louisiana is seen as by other people outside of the state?
I think it's seen as a party place, a place to eat all kind of different foods, a place to come and have a good time, a place to learn about jazz music. It's basically a recreation state. You don't never hear people talking about they want to move to New Orleans. They always just want to pass through and just see the good life.
Oh, in the back, hold on. Okay, back there.
I think, I said, as it refers to government, I feel Louisiana has a sort of a bad rap because of Edward Edwards, the governor's trial. He was almost indicted on charges. And David Duke, state representative, they feel that politics in Louisiana may be a little crooked, and they feel like the political system isn't very good, not working well. They might feel Louisiana doesn't have a good political system.
What do you all think the government should do for people? Do you have any ideas about what you expect the government to do for you?
Meaning what?
Well, like, some people say, I want to have police, I want to make sure, doesn't flood every spring. Anything else? I mean, one thing, education's a big question here.
Yeah, I think that education is a big factor, and helping the homeless is another one. Try to increase the minimum wage, because that's ridiculous. Other things, crime rate, things like that.
Do you think that the people in government now are interested in those things, or are they just interested in getting stuff for themselves?
If you want my honest opinion, I think they're just out for themselves, really. And they really won't take any action in it until enough people get up and say, hey, we gotta do something about this, or until it's so bad that it's so bad till it's almost out of control, and then they'll say, oh, well, let's do something now. And then they'll throw a couple of little cents or something into it to try to shut everybody up, and then they'll go ahead and do whatever else they want to do.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah. That's pretty cynical, guy.
It's life, though.
Okay. You got anything else, Paul?
Yeah, a lot of people, when they think about the state, they think just about New Orleans. and they don't know anything else about the rest of the state. What is there to know? Anybody have any ideas about what it's like up in North Louisiana?
Our relatives up north in North Louisiana, and there's really nothing up there. It's just like just making it from day to day. It's, it's not really too much up there.
If you were going to compare it to New Orleans, I heard some people say some things over here on the left. If you were going to use one or two words to describe North Louisiana, what might you say it was like?
What's that?
Boring. There's nothing to do up there.
I think that people look at North Louisiana I mean, not in the wrong way, but if you look at it, people look at New Orleans as the party place and where where to come and eat and everything, to taste all kind of good foods. But if you stop and think about it, North Louisiana and all the places that we call country, that's where all the food come from. You don't go, all right, you might not step outside New Orleans and go fishing and catch you some crawfish or nothing like that. So you have to look at all of Louisiana as contributing to what New Orleans is made of. I mean, because all the entertainment come from out in the country, all the food come from out in the country, Northern Louisiana, and all the other little towns that's branched out back there.
But if you had to make a choice, where would you rather be? New Orleans or out in the country?
Here.
I think it's just like any other. I think it's just like any other state. When you think of any other state, you think of the big city in the state, like California. You might think of Los Angeles or New York. You think of New York. It's just that Louisiana, New Orleans is the big city. And when you think about Louisiana, you think of New Orleans.
But there seems to be a big difference, even though it's all one state, between folks in northern Louisiana and folks down here.
Well, I can't really tell you because I don't have too much experience with northern Louisianans.
The difference between people in different parts of the state and people in New Orleans is a mixture of all those people, and the little towns, the rural towns, that's just them. But when they come out here, then there's a mixture of everybody. That's the difference.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, you can't really get us wrong. Nothing is wrong with the North or nothing like that. It's like, it's really unfamiliar. I mean, you never really hear anything from up north. But it still is important, like he said, that we do get a lot of things from up north, like agriculture and things like that. So I think New Orleans and the cities around, south of us and north of us, they're still important, and that's what they make Louisiana.
Well, the thing that's interesting about Louisiana is that northern Louisiana is in the past or in the present. Anybody think is doing good work?
More, yeah. Yeah, like I liked him because, he got the job done. He had a good attitude. He had a fire attitude. That's what I liked about him.
He got a lot of people upset.
Yeah, that's true, but he didn't care. As long as he did what he did.
Anybody else? How about Sherman Coke? Anybody know him? Wait. Nobody want to commit themselves, huh? Wait, here. This one.
I admire Edwards because I think that since the city is going down, he's trying to attract more people to the city. He's building an aquarium. He's trying to find more jobs for the unemployed. So I think he's trying to help the city a lot.
Yeah, it's okay. We're not gonna use it.
I remember thought
Look, in a person, I'm not saying I admire him, but I like the way he did things. He didn't pay long. I like his style, I like the way he went about doing the things he did in government.
What did he do and how did he do it?
Well, like the highway going between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, every time we drive there, my grandfather tell me this story on how Huey P. Long stood at the edge of Baton Rouge and he said, I want a highway connecting Baton Rouge and New Orleans, and I want to stand in Baton Rouge and I want to look down and I want to see New Orleans at the end of the highway. And I thought that was very interesting. I like the way he said that and all that. So I like the style.
Anything else you know about Huey Long?
I read the book, but that was a long time ago. I don't really remember too many things about him except for a few stories my grandfather tell me.
So your grandfather admired.
He thought he was crazy, really. But the way that my grandfather explains it, he made the man seem interesting.
That he was. He was quite a guy. Okay. Well, listen, thank
Well, we're just gonna go through some questions in preparation for the exam, but it's using the summary that I gave you, the review questions that I gave you. First of all, we talked about the purpose of government. What is government for? What is the purpose? Serving the people.
Organization.
Organization. What is a key word in government? What is necessary in government? What is it formed for? You serve people, but you're also deciding what?
What they do, their actions.
Okay, their actions. Government is authority over people's actions. Give me a few examples of what we talked about, what you debated about. Issues which the government could say, yes, you can do that, or no, you can't do that. Abortion. Okay, a moral crisis in our state, in our country today.
Arms control?
Arms control. Think of another one that was just on the last test. Capital punishment. All of those are moral crises which are facing our country today. The government, by definition, offers the opportunity for all people in this country to be involved in making those decisions. Do we say yes to abortion or no to abortion? They're moral crises or moral questions. I always mention that government should not be, you shouldn't think of it as an institution, a cold building. It's specific. It comes down to the person. It comes down to the homeless person. It comes down to the person who's hungry, the person who wants to have an abortion or who's opposed to it. What determines a person who is involved in government, what determines their view, their position on an issue? Mr. Wadler, you were up here, you had two people telling you two different things. What would finally determine
Long time, pal.